really exciting. I've been the mayor here almost a year, and this is our third meeting. One of the things that excites me the most is that when we have these, we invite the county. The county has been great to come and partner with us, and it just makes our whole area better when we can do things together. So tonight, we had a request at the last town hall that we get together again before election time. We have several really tricky ballot initiatives going through this year. And Ms. Kay McMurtry is here and is going to help us with some information on some of that. We have school board candidates from the Thayer School District, because we have several of them that will be running next Tuesday, I guess, is election day. And so you'll get to hear from them, and you'll get to hear from county. Their election is not until November, but I think the sooner that we can get to know who's running and who they are, the better off we'll be. So thank you for taking time to be here tonight and become more informed about our community and about our county. We were going to start with candidates tonight, but Ms. Kay has another engagement. So I'm going to ask Ms. Kay McMurtry if she'll come up, and she's going to talk to you about some of the ballot initiatives that we're going to be facing. Ms. Kay?
Some people say I do this and some people don't. I'm Kay McMurtry. I've lived here pretty much all my life here at Alton. My dad is a VOAG teacher. And I have been lobbying in Jefferson City now for 14 years. And I will tell you truthfully, this is the hardest year I've ever worked. So tonight I want to address Senate Bill 3. And if Carol and Glenna did their job, most of you will have copies of that. If not, I'll give you my phone number or my email, and you can certainly call me. I don't mind at all. So I'm going to start this way. Would you vote for something unknown? Senate Bill 3 is just that. And let me tell you why. It is not out of the courts of Missouri yet. It is in the Cole County courts. As a representative, a senator, and a citizen from Dixon, Missouri, filed a lawsuit in July 2025 and said this bill is unconstitutional. And part of the reason for that is it had two different sections in the bill. Number one, it was funding and trying to keep the Kansas City Chiefs here in Missouri. And number two, it was at the same time asking to give tax breaks and what have you for other people such as ourselves, or because I'm old. And we need to all think about those things and look at those things. I want to read the ballot. Shall the County of Oregon exempt eligible taxpayers from certain tax increases on eligible taxpayers' primary residence above the liability incurred during the initial credit year? You all understand that? It's about as clear as mud to a lot of people. And my objective has been basically to contact everybody I know, from north of Kansas City to the Osho, across to Cape Girardeau, all the people I can contact here in this area and say they're opposing it. They're not supporting this bill. It's your right as a taxpayer to do as you wish. But when we are affecting school districts, when we're affecting fire departments, libraries, county government, city government, and we're asking them to forfeit money. And then today, the developmentally disabled came out with a great big post about how it will affect them. So there are a lot of unknowns about this bill, but I'm going to give you some figures. And I tried to do my research, and those of you who've been privileged to get one of these, has all of the people that I have contacted, or the newspaper articles that I've read, or the TV stations, or whatever. So it's not like I really haven't gotten into this. Tanya may know more about this than I do, but here are the estimated losses to the school should Senate Bill 3 pass. $359,000 for Thayer. Couch, $157,000. Koch, $100,000. Alton, $340,000. And we're not talking about a one-time shot, folks. We are talking about multiple years. So it continues. That's a real concern for anybody in this county, because what it's going to cause is that funding will go stagnant, and 9 chances out of 10, people are going to say, well, we've passed, issues before, and blah, blah, blah. Somebody said to me today, well, we were supposed to get a lot of money out of the lottery. I think maybe 2% is what education gets out of the lottery fund in the state of Missouri that we voted on years ago. That's pretty sad. At the last town hall meeting, Tanya gave us what would happen if Senate Bill 2780 should pass, and that's another property tax bill. This one, the concern is you're taking the $2.75 levy down to $2.20. That becomes about a 17 to 19% sales tax if we expand. So House Bill 2780 for the 4 school districts here in the county would give us $2,557 estimated loss, and that would be again per year. So now if you can do the math, we're getting on up to about $500,000. Another bill that's floating through the legislature, and it's on the Senate side. It was discussed briefly today and laid over, will be the initiative to change from income tax to sales tax. And we all think, well, that sounds pretty good. Well, if you're paying 17 to 19% more for your haircut, for instance, as a little example, I figured out today I'd be paying about $36 a haircut. Some of you may say, oh, that won't be the case. There's facts and figures coming out of Dent County showing that if you spend $100 at a grocery store, you're going to spend about $25 in taxes. So those things are concerning. The total loss for Thayer, Alton, Couch, and Koshkanon would be almost $3.6 million. Now, if you think about that, how many can really afford that? Not a school district in this county, nor anywhere else that I understand from talking to people from North Kansas City down to Joplin to Neosho to Wright County. Nobody can afford it, and they know that. So, on Tuesday, we vote. And you in your own hearts can determine how you want to vote. I can't tell you how to do that. But I do know that it's so important, not just to this county, but to the state of Missouri. When a judge can demand that 97 counties in the state of Missouri have to vote for this issue on Tuesday. The rest of the counties are exempt, pretty much. And if you having read a lot of that, you're going to be looking at places like Kansas City and Columbia where they're heavy Democrats, St. Louis. So just be aware. I hope that you will consider your votes, and I'll be anxious to see the results next week. I could briefly take questions, but I do have another obligation. This will be my fourth or fifth one today. Go ahead.
Just to be clear.
Yes.
SB3 passed.
I'm sorry.
SB3 passed last year, but
It did pass in the legislature.
now that mandated the county.
The judge in Cole County has mandated that we will go back and revote Senate Bill 3 because there's been so much controversy in the court challenge.
And it's like 190, Senate Bill 190. It's very like Senate Bill 190.
Senate Bill 190, if you've not signed up yet, I'm going to put a little plug in on April the 30th. If you were 62 years old and above, all right, and you own your own house, you have the opportunity to go to the courthouse and sign up for your credit there to freeze your taxes on your house and hopefully not do any work on it, because if you do, it'll increase again. But I'm just, I'm trying to give you a little information here about that also. It's important. April the 30th is the other deadline for that. It's just your house. Sorry, Kathy. I imagine they will be going after your farmland and
Yeah.
Mr. Hobo.
One of the pictures of it, it looks like they're blowing a lot of smoke. And
Thank you, that is true.
if we don't know what it's doing, and if we don't know the good points, the bad points, I know you're pointing at some of them, but,
What David just said is true. It's similar to 190, and that's their intent and purpose, and they want you to believe that. And they also do not want you to think that they are going to, as you said, blow smoke. But that's not their intention to do that. And if you talk to any of the representatives or senators, that's probably what they're going to tell you. But I've researched about 12 different organizations, and probably most of you in this room have heard of the Missouri School Board Association, which is the state organization for education. And believe me, they're saying the same thing.
who would be,
Am I right in understanding if you sign up for this, the place will be reassessed for that, and you have to sign up every year?
You do have to sign up for 190 every year. The assessment, I'm not sure of, David.
It's triggered and automatic.
Automatic.
Yes, sir.
So there was, you have to sign up for this, or if it's sitting there close, their tax is going to go up over $300.
That could be very well true.
Senate Bill 3 tied that up. That's why we're here again.
Anyway, I'll be happy to take questions. If you have pen or pencil and you want to write down my number, it's fine. I'm like a doctor, I'm on call all the time. Okay, Joy. So is it vote or no? No means no in this instance. If you vote yes, you may be mad later on, but that's your choice. Any other questions?
one thing about it, something, why don't they get somebody that can write and where we can understand the sixth grader to do better than this?
Because they want to confuse you.
You're fine. I hope not. Having been there for 14 years, I can tell you right now that it just goes up and down. And if there are tax issues like we've got this year, we have 100 tax bills in the state of Missouri that could be heard at any point. And this is also the time of year that they say, well, we're just gonna put you 70 and 1410 and whatever together. And they'll expect you to understand all of that if some of it comes to a vote, which this is. They intentionally write ballots to where not very many people are going to understand unless you really research them. And I'm going out on land, but it's okay. I can retire again.
How did our state representative, our state senator go about this thing?
Is he here? No. Representative Elliott actually voted yes. He voted yes on Senate Bill 3. He voted yes on 2780. So he would be glad to put his 2 cents in, I'm sure. Senator Bean out of the southeast area. Oh, thank you. The Strawberries Barbecue. Voted for Senate Bill 3. They have not, of course, 2780 is still being heard in the Senate, so they've not voted on that yet. But, you know, call them. You can look up their numbers pretty quick. And if they won't talk to you, just tell their legislative assistant exactly what you think and feel. My number, 573-368-9889. If you can't get me, call the radio station. Just kidding. Thank you.
We have going on with these Senate bills and have interest, and there's several people around you that have done good research. So if you have questions, I know Miss Debbie, will you raise your hand? Miss Debbie Sanchez does a lot of research, and she has stuff on Facebook. Miss Tanya knows a lot also about these Senate bills. These not only affect our cities and our towns and our county, they affect the future of our people. And so please consider carefully when you vote. Moving right along here, I'd like to ask that the candidates for their school board come down, please. We're going to start with them because it's a smaller group. I'm so thankful for everyone who came out tonight. It's great to see you. I'm going to have Brent bring you the microphone, and I'm going to ask that you each one introduce yourself and tell why you chose to run for their district school board.
Hello everybody, my name is Don Edward Botworth. I am running for school board for a lot of different reasons. First off, I have 3 kids in the school system. They're doing great overall. But as I've been analyzing the situation, and you got to keep in mind where I'm coming from. I come from a military background, been in the Army for 24 years, had positions from platoon leader to battalion S3, battalion S2, led, trained soldiers on battlefields in Iraq and Afghanistan like 5 times, Desert Storm. Okay, I know what it takes to be a leader. I also know how to analyze things properly. I also know how to dissect what it is that you're trying to gather, come with sound conclusions after you get all the facts of the situation. And then when you get those facts, then you can make a solid recommendation. So that's the kind of extra things I bring to the plate. I've been in Thayer for 8 years now. And my kids will continue through the school system as we are at the moment. I sure like it to be better than what's going on now. There are some issues that need to be addressed, things that need to be fixed. But that's like that in every organization. You know, as we try to do better, hopefully you learn from mistakes of the past. Hopefully you try to do better than what you did before, and you try to not disenfranchise anyone. So in the process, and that's a difficult thing. The school board's got a very important job to help our students be healthy in all areas, not just physical security, which one of the things I was a military policeman when I was in the Army. I also was an intel analyst, and I was an armor officer through my 24-year span. So I understand what it takes for physical security side, and there's a lot of value added that I can provide on that lane. I also did a lot of training within the Army, so I can come from an outsider's perspective in and provide those data points so that we can make what we got going on here at Thayer even better. So those are the kind of things that I like to bring to the table, and then some. That's just a taste, if you will. It's the first time I ever tried on any level of politics. Politics was normally not my bag. When I retired in 2014 and came to Thayer, I was like, well, hey, I'm just going to be retired and hang out and enjoy, my family and so forth, and I'm doing that. But I also heard a calling that I felt that I needed to fill. And so now I'm out of retirement. I was trying to get out of retirement a little bit. And I would like to get your vote. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Bill Hanka. Excuse me, I'm a little dry. My allergies are acting up. I'm sure no one else has that problem. I grew up out in the Couch community. I went to Couch school, and I moved to Thayer 30 years ago. I went to work for the railroad, I guess. And I've had 3 kids go through Thayer school. And some years ago, I don't know, I just decided that I might add my perspective to the school board. We've had a lot of good people on there for years, and I had no agenda or no big plan to make any changes. I just thought I'd just try to help. Thayer's always had a good reputation statewide, not only locally. People like to come here. They like to send their kids to school here, and we've got a lot of people to help the kids succeed. We've got a lot of good teachers. We've got very good administration. We've got probably one of the best superintendents that I would know of anywhere. And as far as I know, we've made a lot of decisions that I think have helped the community and helped the school grow and helped a lot of kids succeed. At board meetings, we have a lot of discussion. Probably I talk too much. Most people will tell you that. So we spend maybe a lot of time that maybe we wouldn't necessarily need to. I ask a lot of questions. We are very thoughtful in our deliberations. Everybody has a voice. There's 7 of us. No one person makes any decision on their own. So we may have differences of opinion, but generally we can come to a consensus and make decisions. And everything is taken for the best of the district and mainly for the kids in this district. So I just appreciate your vote, and I'll do my dead level best to continue to make decisions with every bit of information that I can gather that's provided to us, and appreciate your vote on Tuesday. Thanks.
My name is Mike Morris. Been on the school board for probably about 15 years now. My wife and I moved back in, I think 1999 after living in the mountain home for about 20 years. I worked for the railroad, and I knew I was going to be traveling for a long time, and knew our girls needed to be in a smaller community. I graduated here in 80, and both my girls graduated here. My wife got on and helped grade the papers back in old elementary many years ago. And just went back to college and ended up getting a job as secretary at elementary. A lot of your kids, she's probably seen over her lifetime. Columbia. And, I know Ms. McBurger talked about that a while ago. And I was a representative for the southern part of the state, went all the way over toward, probably around Cape Girardeau. And, a lot of people move there more or less to do our sports and stuff. But, here several years ago, we started a farm and table program. And I got a friend of mine to come up and, we videotaped this and pieced it all together. And I took it to Columbia. And people were just amazed at what our students were doing down here. And we hear that no matter where we go, as vacation, where you're from, or on basketball or football games, you know, said your kids are the best kids in the public. And, you know, we ought to be proud of that. We've had a lot of students graduate here and said, gosh, I wouldn't have had, Tony, what's Mrs. Alvin teacher that retired? Miss McGinnis. If we wouldn't have had her, I would have never got through college out. And we do spend a lot of time, like Bill said, every month going through and looking and trying to get the best teacher. If we don't have it, we're going to find some way to get it. And I'll back what Bill said. We've been through at least 3 or 4 superintendents, and Tanya spends a lot of hours on the road, a lot of hours on the phone. And her and Mark and Mr. Morse over at the elementary school, they bring us all these candidates every month for new teachers where we're needed at. And it's a process, and they go through a lot, and they bring it to us, and we'll sit there for hours trying to figure out whichever one we think is the best. And I love every bit of it. My girls enjoy going to school here. My daughter has got into education. She's a 4th grade teacher at West Plains. Not where I wanted her to go, but you know, it's close to home. So I believe that we're on the right direction, and we'll continue to get better. And I know there's a lot of good things in the works right now that we'll be putting out for the district and for our kids and moving forward. And if you have students that's moving up, that's from junior high into high school, we offer a lot of classes online where you can have a associate's degree before you ever graduate from high school. So that's something that's really big, and it's really blossomed over the last several years. But I appreciate your voting on Tuesday, and if y'all ever have a question, you're more than welcome to call me.
My name is Jason Baker. I'm a lifelong resident of Thayer. I'm a 1997 graduate of Thayer. I currently have 2 daughters in school, one in preschool, one in 4th grade. I worked for the railroad for 27 years now. Been on the volunteer fire department here in Thayer for 25 years. And I've had a lot of people. I've always had a little bit of an idea of running for school board, but I had a lot of people come to me and ask me if I'd be interested. This year I finally made the decision that I was going to do it. And the reasons being are, well, first of all, everybody, after I signed up for it, I had a lot of people come to me and ask me, well, what's your agenda? Do you have an agenda? Do you have, something you're going to do? I don't. The only agenda I have is to help the best I can to continue Thayer School being as good as it is and better. I have no opposition or agenda that I'm going after by running. I feel like we have a great school, and anybody that's from Thayer or surrounding communities knows about Bobcat Pride, and I have a lot of Bobcat Pride. You can ask David over there. He knows. He may be against it, but he knows about Bobcat Pride. One of our biggest rivals we've always had is Alton High School. But the is that if either community has a problem, there's no Bobcats comments, none of that. We all come together. And that's what's great about living in rural communities is everybody comes together to help everybody out. And there's no place like Warden County for doing that. But like I said, I don't have any opposition that I'm running, like agenda that I'm running for. I just want to be here to offer whatever I can to help make improvements, to help keep the best teachers, to get the best teachers, to draw people to want to be a Bobcat. And I really appreciate your vote next Tuesday. Thank you.
Okay, I'm still new and still learning. I probably didn't do that in the right order. But these gentlemen, there's 3 positions that are going to be filled. There's 4 gentlemen voting for it. So if there's anyone that has questions, I'm sure you all will be glad to answer any question directed. If you'd like to raise your hand and say who you have a question for, I'm sure they'll be glad to take your questions. Anybody got any questions? Miss Jessica?
Yeah, I have a question for those that are running. Do any of you have past situations where you have received any disciplinary action or been restricted from being at the school district?
No, I haven't.
No, I have not either. And I'll speak for Bill too. And I won't speak for Bill. I'll put it. That's all right. No, I'm just one Bill here. We both, I know, have gotten phone calls over the years. And nobody's ever said they hadn't been able to get to the school or anything. The one thing that we have had in the past is when we first got on was proper channels. And a lot of people would call us. We would redirect them to Mark. I said, if they had a problem with their child, and then couldn't get satisfaction there, you could always go to time. And if that didn't satisfy you, could always bring it to the board. But that's kind of, that kind of got off the subject, but that's kind of the way it's always, the process has been. There's been some situations that a lot of people were familiar with how to do this. But
No.
I feel like this question is directed directly to me. That way I can expound upon things. Okay, great. The short answer is yes. Okay. I had an opportunity to have an engagement after an event with the teacher. Teacher wasn't doing anything wrong, but I had to go investigate it because my daughter came up to me and she said, hey, I should have been in this positioning over here during this concert, and that didn't happen. So I was like, my wife, Susan, if you know her, Susan Butler, don't do it, don't do it. I was like, all I'm going to do is ask the question. So walk across, start engaging with the conversation with the teacher. Started doing an assessment of the situation, realized that the girl that had swapped spots was one that had been bullying my daughter, and she was the problem. So I was like, well, I'm getting tired of these girls bullying my daughter. So needless to say, the teacher, it's loud out there, the teacher was like, I'm not bullying her. We're like, whoa, no, I didn't say that. And then another teacher from 20 feet away started yelling across the room, and she's yelling, and my wife's yelling back. She's yelling. 2 times over, I was like, okay, well, hey, it's time to go. So we took a walk. We tapped the old grade school principal on the shoulder. I said, hey, I'd like to talk to you on Monday. We brought a couple of your teachers. And he's like, okay, great. So I show up on Monday. Before I know it, I'm getting like shift playing for everything. And I was like, whoa. I go, what are you talking about? I go, all I was doing was trying to figure out what was going on here with my daughter. And now I'm the problem. So I found that when you ask questions, it doesn't matter whether it's a hard question to the teacher or anybody else, it comes back on you. I'll take that hit all day long, as far as that's concerned. So I was trying to stick up for my daughter, and the teacher had nothing to do with the whole situation. Now, the other teacher misunderstood and was being pretty loud. And if people had, one, apologized to me about the situation, or if took me serious on my dialogue and what happened on there, then maybe something in the future wouldn't have happened, and I won't get into that out loud, mind you. But there's a cause and effect to everything, and if something doesn't get fixed with an individual, then they get carte blanche to do something else, and before you know it could be something really bad. And then getting into the physical security side, and I said in my speech earlier, this is one of those cases. Things get fixed early on, then it doesn't snowball out of control. So yeah, I got rolled up for 14 months. Went to go talk to the board. That didn't work out. Nothing changed for that one. I wanted a copy of the video. They said that they had a copy of the video. Then when I asked for it, they didn't have a copy of the video because apparently they determined that it wasn't on. So we had a long conversation about that and other things going, oh, well, that's got to get fixed. I go, if you're supposed to have video 24/7, 7 days a week, it should be accessible. It should be working. You should be able to see what's on the screen. Well, I just noticed recently that they upgraded that. And that's fantastic. That's, if anything came out of all that, the bare minimum it was that now we have better video cameras than what we had before, because that shouldn't have been the case at all. That's pretty dangerous for all of our kids. And we want to make sure that we have a safe environment for all the kids here. We want to make sure that all the administrators, the teachers, people working in the school, they are all doing what they should be doing, is being strong mentors. They are building up the kids, never tearing them down, okay? Positive mentors. And if you don't have things in place as safety mechanisms, then that will never happen. So yeah, that, long story short, that's basically happened. There's a couple other things that got tied in there. Went in the wrong way, and before the bus break came, because they closed the parking lot out front for like 45 minutes before, 30 plus minutes before the bus shows up. So like me and 10 other people, we went in the wrong way. I got busted. I stopped doing that. That was another thing. I took full responsibility for that. I was just trying to get to my kids in a timely manner. I didn't do that after that. And then there was one other thing too. You've got little kids that are 1 and 3 years old. They forget homework. You get kind of like flustered a little bit. I got 3 kids with me, and so the kids come out. I go, "Hey, you got all your homework?" They're like, "No, we forgot something." And I was like, "Okay, well, let's go in and get it." So I started walking in the door they came out of, and pretty much everybody's out of school and so forth. And walking in, and I get 2 steps in, the security guard is doing his job. And I said, "Hey, you're not supposed to be in here this way." And I was like, "Oh, okay, sorry." Then you go back around. So I did that, and then, a few months down the line, or maybe longer, I can't remember what the timeline was, got flustered again and went back in with my kids. Like I said, we're talking about, ones that are fourth grade and below and so forth. And got rolled up again for that, went the wrong way in there. So what I do, I just, sorry, and went the right way, and so that way we could, but both of those time periods were after pretty much everybody was out of the building. As far as that's not everybody, but I still took responsibility for that because I was wrong. I shouldn't have walked in that particular door at that particular time and so forth. So, as a disabled veteran, one of the things that they gave me was 14 months not being able to participate in any of my kids' events. Asked for a reprieve, that didn't happen. We stuck with the time period. 14 months, now you guys can judge for yourself. Was that appropriate for the situations or not? It is, you know, pretty lengthy time. I missed 2 of my kids' award ceremonies. My kids are doing a bang-up job. And as a dad, I couldn't be there for them at that moment in time. I couldn't even get access. And as a veteran, in particular, a disabled veteran, according to state law, I'm supposed to have full access to all the kids. And that didn't happen. But they stuck with, you know, that. I accepted it. I complied to that whole time period. And now I'm back on the normal guy list, if you will, so I can do what everybody else does and so forth. I'm just trying to figure out what I could do to better future person's situations. And I can do better by learning and growing from that particular moment in time. And then also asking the hard questions to make sure that everything's being properly investigated on all angles, with multiple witnesses, whatever it takes, to get an accurate picture. And then an accurate picture is presented to the board, not part of the picture, not 2/3 of the picture, maybe for your perspective or not, whatever, but the full picture. And so if people need to really get pushed away from their kids in this particular case, then so be it, okay, for the time period. If it's a shorter time period, okay, that's fine too. If you did something so horrendous that they are banned for life, then, you know, that's the way that is. But at least the investigation part is done properly, and it's done impartially. So, thank you. Any more questions?
Y'all repeat your name for me slowly? Repeat your name slowly.
Don Bottorff.
John what?
Bottorff, ma'am. Bottorff. I think I'm the only Don on the roster there.
Bill Honeycutt.
Mike Morse.
Jason Baker.
Any more questions?
That's kind of a twofold here. So first of all, some of you guys said what your agenda was. So the ones that didn't, what are your agendas, or do you have one? And then the second question would be to Dawn for what you just said. So if you were involved in something with the other school board meeting members, or potentially some of these that were in there in the past, are you going to be able to, if you get with them this time, are you going to be able to cooperate with them, or are there hard feelings because of that situation, or how is that going to work?
I guess you asked me if I'm a better man or not. What's their question and so forth? You know, I was always taught, right from wrong, you admit to your mistakes, and then you learn and you grow and you move forward. And you don't drag anybody down along the way. You know, although I felt that there's a lot of folks beyond myself that didn't have a voice on there, I'm trying to have a voice for the parents, for the kids, okay, for everybody out there. I don't have any problem. I've worked with all kinds of different leaders in the Army, the ones that I didn't agree with, the ones that I did, some harder and softer than others overall, women, men, you know, that doesn't matter. You know, we're all green here, just like when I was in the Army, we're all green. Okay, we're all got the best interest of the kids at heart. Okay, if no one has the best interest in the kids 100%, then we'll have a discussion about that. Okay, as I try to roll them back into those particular discussion points. But I have no problem interacting and working. Matter of fact, a couple of days ago, I had a chance to work with the superintendent and Bill on a very important initiative that came out with the school. They sent out a survey, I don't know if everybody saw that, At first I said I didn't see it to Tanya, but I didn't see it because my wife did it for us. That's why I didn't see it. But you know, we have 700 something families, and 114 families filled out these forms to come up with these statistics as we were trying to figure out where we're at now and what we can do in the next 3 years. We had great discussions, and there was like another board member with me and the superintendent with me, and we stepped forward from that situation, which ended almost a year ago. So that's been a while. And I didn't feel anything in either direction from anybody, regardless of past situations or whatever. They seem like folks that could say, oh, yeah, this is that moment in time, you're back in the mix. Let's talk, let's interact, let's try to move forward on getting whatever we need to get done for the kids. And that's why I was there. I wasn't there for publicity or anything. In fact, I could have just curled up in a little ball for this whole situation and said, I'm done. I got PTSD, which I do, 90% disabled in a few different categories. This is why I don't hang out with crowds and don't interact with people, because one thing or another is a difficult situation for me. But I'm finding myself able to handle that. As was with a couple of days ago, and actually throughout the whole school year, I bumped into the superintendent and Donna through multiple avenues, regardless of where it was at, doing some kind of charity type of work, I'll say it like that, or within the school itself and so forth, or maybe it's just a passing dialogue, in the hallway or whatever. And I don't see, I'm not feeling like I'm a victim or anything like that. And I'm not trying to make anybody else a victim. I don't know to what I did, and left the other stuff back behind. One thing that I would never tolerate is anybody, I don't care if they're an adult or a child, that bullies or harasses or talks down to any of our kids. That is totally unnecessary at any angle. It doesn't matter whether we get disciplinary actions or just, and there was a small case in point where my daughter's name was being broadcasted. The name was wrong. I corrected that individual, and nothing happened. Okay, well, that's a different discussion, mind you, but once again, we are the stewards for all of our kids, all of us. Okay, and it takes all of us to band together and work forward for positive progress. And so hopefully I can do that. I know I can do that with any of the board members, and the superintendent, and high school principals, and grade school principals, and anybody else. If it was a blip in time, it gets discussed as adults, and we move past that.
I don't guess I have an agenda other than just continue to be as physically responsible as we can, and with maybe things coming down from the state, maybe an unknown on the money. So we're going to have to be fiscally responsible. And one thing that I've always said, it's not some big epiphany or anything, but when a kid walks through that door, all of us here, we've got differences, whether it be economic, running different social circles, different religious beliefs, different denominations, whatever, and any other number of other things that make us different. But I hope that at the school, when a kid walks in the door, that's all left on the outside, and everybody's treated the same. Because every kid that comes through that door deserves to be loved, deserves to have opportunities, and we just need to do our best to provide the opportunities and help them realize the ones that maybe they need to take advantage of. So, thanks.
I don't have no agenda. I just believe child, no matter what your ability is, should have the best teachers possible to benefit and help you move forward as you're here at school. There is a lot of unknowns coming out that we've heard at the state already. And I think that we can move forward in a good way, and I think we'll still be strong in the future. Thank you.
Like I said a while ago, I'm coming into this, I don't have an agenda towards anything besides just doing the absolute best I can to continue with, in my opinion, Thayer being a great school, great faculty, great kids, do everything in my ability to help continue with that. And like Mike and Bill said, I've heard that too, budget cuts coming, and a lot of opposition and stuff that'll have to be battled in the next 5 years probably. And if I'm lucky enough to get elected, I'll face that with the best of my abilities and do what I can.
Thank you, gentlemen. Because of time, we're going to move on to county. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for talking.
Good luck, gentlemen. Thank you. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Presiding Commissioner David Stubblefield from Morgan County. I've been at this job almost 5 years. I'd like to thank City Council, the Mayor, for the things that have happened at Thayer in the last year or so. This is pretty exciting. I know you all worked hard, so I'll not keep you any longer and not brag on you much more. You all have done a good job. These people have done a wonderful job. They deserve a round of applause. With that, I would like to have the candidates for the county positions to come down, and we will give you a chance to say who you are. And by the way, I am running again this year for presiding commissioner. I'm going to hand this mic to the judge, and he can start us off.
My name is Harvey Allen. I'm the Associate Circuit Judge here in Oregon County. Many of you know me. I grew up here. As a matter of fact, if you know the Underwood property over here that we just cleared off, about 50 years ago, you can see me riding a pony up on top of that hill. That's the back of our family farm. I grew up here. I and my 5 siblings all graduated from Thayer High School. My son graduated from Thayer High School. Went to college at Missouri State University in Springfield, and then law school at Kansas City. Moved back to Springfield and practiced law with a law firm there for 5 years. Had a chance to come back to Thayer when Bill Hance got elected as a judge, and I took over his office where I worked in that office for 20 years before I became judge. I've now been the judge for 15 years. This is starting my 16th year. I'm not that old, but I'm starting my 16th year as judge. I just calculated a while ago. I think this month is my 40th year as a lawyer. So I've been doing that for a while. In my position, I was the city attorney there for 14 years, and then also the suburb of Koshkonong for several years. So did those things. And even as my time as a judge, I handle pretty much anything. I laugh once in a while that we're doing a murder arraignment, and then I'll be doing an Alton dog run police within 5 minutes of each other. So someone asked me, what do I do? I said, I do just about everything. We handle those. Some of the things I'm very proud of is that I deal with I'm also the juvenile judge here in Oregon County, so I do deal with juvenile issues. I'm just telling you that that's tough. And Justin, having been prosecutor, he knows that being judge on all those cases, it is half the people think you're too easy and the other half think you're too hard. And that's just how it goes being judge or being prosecutor. I started the drug treatment court here in Oregon County. That was something that the state was really wanting to encourage us to do. And you know, there's mixed opinions about it when it got started. But let me tell you, there's nothing to make your opinion very solid as when someone graduates from treatment court and they come and tell you that if you had not put me in jail on the day you put me in jail, I would be dead. That's moving to them. And then when their 50-year-old dad comes over and gives you a hug and says, you saved my daughter, that's moving to them. That's why I do that. That's why I want to do this, why I've done it, because I've served for many years. Bob Beckman doing community events and improving our community is the biggest thing to me. Very important to me. I have a lot of things to consider. People often, I've heard complaints about issues concerning things such as a bond that I issue for someone. I have a very limited amount of discretion about that, but I do have discretion. Two things I have to consider is make sure the bond's appropriate, to make sure they show up in court, and to protect my community. I take that very serious. Do everything I can to protect our community. So I'm very proud of the commissioners this year. They have been working to improve and increase the jail. They have remodeled both the primary courtroom and also have created a new secondary courtroom for us that's been extremely useful. I had the honor of swearing in Mayor Donna in our new secondary courtroom recently, and it's been we've been using it a lot. So that's been a great expenditure of money, improvement to the courthouse, improvements to the courtrooms for the first time, I think, in 40 years. So very much. In any event, I'm running for one more term with this, and I will, the primary on that is on August 4th. I would appreciate your vote.
My name is Justin Nelson. I'm also running for Associate Circuit Judge of Oregon County. I've been a lawyer now. This will be my 22nd year. I graduated in 1997 with Jason Baker back there. My parents, of course, both graduates of here in Thayer. My sister was a graduate there, so long history here at Thayer. I started out, my first job out of law school was working as a public defender. So I represented indigent folks that did not have the funds to hire an attorney, so I would be appointed to represent them. Later on, I ended up serving as prosecutor here in Oregon County, and now I'm in private practice, principally doing a lot of family law issues, divorces, guardianships, things of that nature. What I would say originally attracted me to the practice of law was the idea of accountability and equal protection under the law. And those are the values that I would also bring to the bench, to be sure that every case is fully heard, that every individual is respected, treated fairly, without bias, without any type of favoritism, to be sure that all folks are afforded their equal access to the law, they're treated equally under the law, and that's what my goal would be, serving as your judge. And I would appreciate your vote this August in the August Republican primary. Thank you.
If you have any questions, would you hold on to them just for a little bit? We'll go through these people, and then you can ask. Crystal?
I'll go behind the podium, but I'm not sure you can see me. I'm not the tallest person in the world or the best speaker, but here we go. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for being here tonight, and thank you for supporting all of our candidates. You're very lucky. There's several here, and they're all after your vote and want to work for you. I simply want to start by asking for your vote. My name is Crystal Howe, and many of you may know me as a neighbor, a co-worker, or just somebody that you see in the community. Some of you may have heard me on the radio a few years ago. If not, maybe Bob Beckman will give me a discount this year. I grew up believing in hard work and responsibility and taking care of the place that you call home. I studied contract law in college, but life led me back home to take care of my children. Along the way, I built a career centered on service and accountability, values that I hold dear today. I spent 10 years at AirVac working in maintenance on software implementation and contract negotiations. This is where I learned how critical efficiency and accuracy are in the systems that we use today. In 2016, I joined the Howe County Circuit Clerk's office. Over the last 10 years, I've worked in every aspect of the court system, and I have just completed my 36th jury trial, being a part of that, and it's very rewarding to be able to help justice move along. I've served 2 years as a Region 9 officer for the Missouri Professional Association of Court Clerks. This area of MOPAC is what we call it, serves 9 or 11 counties in our area. Through that work, I've helped train several of the clerks in the 37th Circuit by sharing best practices and improving consistency across the state. Beyond the courthouse, I've also helped implement software improvements that have helped statewide. I currently serve on 3 focus groups. Those are for accounting, civil, and garnishments. These are new processes in our software. As a select group of clerks, we help develop, implement, and process to strengthen those areas in our court system across Missouri. Our circuit recently received recognition for case processing. And while I'm proud of that work, I believe there's a lot more that we can do. That belief is why my slogan is, your clerk, your neighbor, your voice. I'm not just someone who works in the court system. I live here, I raise my family here, and I understand the people and the needs of this community. My goal is simple, a court system that works efficiently, serves people well, and reflects those that it represents. So tonight, I'll ask again for your vote, and I would be truly honored to earn your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, good evening. I'll be brief. My name is Reese, and I'm from Alton, Missouri. And one of the things that I picked up on with the school board candidate was how much he enjoyed the community and how the communities come together in such a big way, and that really made an impact on me. I guess it was the St. Jude's fundraising, and for Alton, it was like, to me, astronomical. And then just any need, they're there. And it's the same here in all the communities. And I am from a small town too. I recently moved up here about 3 years ago, going on 4. And I think my favorite thing is getting to experience every season in 1 week. I'm like, that's awesome. So it's like Missouri's telling you, hey, stick around. If you don't like this one, I'll show you in 1 week. Anyway, I have signed up to run for the county clerk position, and I have a strong background in administration, management. I was an office manager supervisor and traveled to 7 states and covered 11 offices, so I'm very acclimated to handling paperwork, being out in public. I love to meet new people and help. I love to help. So that's why I'm running for the county clerk. I do have a background in all of that and would really appreciate your vote coming up. Boy, I do not want to go after those ladies.
I'm just going to introduce myself. I'm Sandy Wheeler. I'm running for county collector. I currently work for the city of Alton. I just think that the county deserves someone that's respectful, someone that's dedicated, and that's basically it. I'm not going to hold you guys here much longer.
Hello, my name's Wes Buckner. I've lived in Orange County my entire life. I'm most generally from the Alton area. Grew up between Alton and Thayer. My parents have had a place out there since I was just a little kid. I've been on the city council now at Alton for 5 years. I've been on the Orange County Recycling Board for, I believe, 3 years. I enjoy doing work that serves the public, that, to try and help make our community better and stronger. And I look forward to hoping to get to serve the community in the future. I've signed up to run as Oregon County Treasurer, and I would appreciate your vote come August. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Terry Williams. For you all that don't know me here, I'm from Alton. I'm running for Oregon County Collector. I'm not a speaker at all, but they said we needed to talk tonight, so I'm more of a work person, get out there and get the job done. So in August, I would appreciate your vote. Some people, it was brought to my attention today that said, is there anything that you would change? Is there anything you would do if you got in? Yes. Like I said, this person asked about being able to work through lunch hours. Yes, I agree. Personally, I own Southside Thayer right now in Alton. I know most of you that know me from there, know my husband, Tom Williams. I've been there for 28 years. So I've managed, I've took care of all the bookwork on it, kept everything financially going. I've even taken care of David a few times with some tickets through the years. So, yeah, that's how I get paid. So anyway, with all that said, I've got 27 years background of financial to be able to keep care of all that and everything. Managed it, managed the farm. So financially, I would try to do my best to do everything that's capable to do for the county. And I mean, talking back about lunch hour, yes, we take off for lunch, but I would agree if we had the office, if I did, I would rotate it to where somebody was there through the noon hour, because a lot of times, even if you're in the office, you don't have time to go do your business and pay your taxes. So that is one thing that I would see if I was elected. So, but I appreciate your vote. Again, my name is Terry Williams. So thank you.
Hello, my name is Luana Hollis. I currently work at the DMV, so some of y'all do see me in there. I am running for county treasurer this year. Don't really have an agenda, just Linda is done a wonderful job and she's retiring, so I would like your vote and give me a chance to be your treasurer instead of your DMV worker. But I also would like to say that I've grown up here my whole life, and this community means a lot, and I would like to be able to help keep it local with the families and help the ones coming in to learn what is so great about our community. I'd appreciate your vote.
Hi, my name is Donna Morrison. I've grown up in Oregon County my whole life. I have worked in the courthouse for 10 years. I've worked for the county clerk's office for 5, and in the collector's office for 5, which I'm in there right now. I love doing the job. I'm not good at speaking, but I am good at taking your money. It's not a good thing, I know, but you kind of got to know what you're doing. It's pretty important. The collector is more than collecting money. There's budgets you keep up with. There's reports you have to balance out. It's not taking your money and you're done, which some people think that. It's not. You got to balance out every month. But so, and as far as lunch hour, I do like my lunch hour, I'll be honest. So I'd appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Melissa Smith. I was raised here in Oregon County. I have been married 34, going on 35 years. I've got 3 kids, 1 grandbaby. I work at the courthouse. I'm in the prosecuting attorney's office. I take care of the bad checks and restitution through our office. So what that means is just when the money comes in from a defendant, I pay that out as quickly as possible. We do that once a month. It's at the end of the month. I don't know what else to say, so come vote August.
Thank you all. I believe there are 16 people
running for 7 offices this time, so there will be quite a few on the ballot, and it is in the August, and some will go on into November then. So right now, if you have any questions for anybody. Yes, ma'am.
I have a general question. So all these people that just spoke, that's the August 6th election, correct? Okay.
Yes, it is.
Will we hear from them again, or will we gather information, or renew that ballot?
I'd say we'll be out and about.
What's that?
I'd say we'll be out and about, kind of like 4th of July, here at Thayer, Alton, things like that, before the August primary.
That was my initial question, because I wasn't aware of the August 6th.
Yes,
Thank you.
you're good. Anybody else?
I've got a question.
Okay, Bob.
For the judge position. My question is to Mr. Nelson. Mr. Nelson, you know, this is a small county, even being it's a small county, you know, that judge job is a big, big job. Do you believe that you possess the wherewithal and the know-how to do that job?
Well, I'm not sure how you define wherewithal, but as far as if you're talking about know-how or experience, then yes, I think I do.
You care to explain?
Do I care to explain what?
That you've got to know.
Did I have a know-how? Well, I've been an attorney now, this is going on year 22. I've been essentially in every role that you can be in the courthouse, from public defender to private counsel to prosecutor. So I think I've been about everywhere, in every county, in court in South Central Missouri. I've seen multiple judges run courtrooms, so I feel confident in my ability to do the job, yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, anybody else? I'm going to give this back to the mayor. She's the lady that invited all of us, and I want to thank her. And we'll do it again sometime.
Well, I want to thank all of you for coming and spending your time here with us this evening. It's so nice to put faces with names with ballot, for people to be able to speak and ask questions. It's great. And so thank you again for coming. And I hope we'll get to have another get-together between now and the time August rolls around. And don't forget to go there, folks, and vote on Tuesday for the board meeting. And I was going to see, is there anything, I have my council here tonight, I'd like to thank them. They've been very patient with the new meeting times that we have. And we're just always up to something. We've got Mark Bryant and Dirk Schultz and Stephen Clark here tonight, because Janice is ill and couldn't be with us. But I truly appreciate them and all the work they're doing, and the school for allowing us to meet here. Did anybody else, if you have another question, sir?
I guess there's nobody here from Burbank.
Do we have anyone here from special?
The road is not running, it's residing.
And you're asking about that special? Yeah, you got, Bob.
There he comes. Here he is.
Buzz, you want to come talk? Come on, Buzz. You're in the spotlight. That's
Well, I'm a little bit about myself. I'm born and raised up here on 2 miles, or on down below. And hold up the mic. I've run for Western County for about 15 years on the Thayer Special. And the reason I quit was because I didn't think, since I was working on the railroad, I didn't have enough time to devote just can plan. So that's where I'm at. There's some things that can be changed. I've not been in it long, and it's been a long time, so I'm not really sure where our budget's at. So with fuel at $4 a gallon, we're probably not going to see a lot of road graders and a lot of backhoes and a lot of dump trucks going up down the road. But there's a lot of waste material out there in the roads that can be used. One of my pet peeves is if you go down a gravel road, you'll see a big mound of gravel on the side of the road. Well, that is really good field to fix and crown our roads. And I'm not, don't know anything about building roads. I spent 35 years running and doing maintenance on the railroad. So if it's an inch and a half out of deviation, you can ask Michael Worth and Jason Baker, they get to stop while we fix it because that's out of service. And county roads don't matter if it's 2 foot deep, county roads are still in service. You either slow down or take your chances. So I would like to try to help, and might be able to, might not. No promises, but I'm there. Questions? Really? No.
Any other questions?
You want to talk to me about a road tax?
Sit down. Oh, well, as a commissioner, talk to you. Not the roof. There you go. You were a commissioner not too many years ago. You don't tell me that. You were the roof.
All right, I'll talk a little bit about the road tax. Anybody that don't know me, I'm Jake Parker, Northern District Commissioner. So we'll get into the road tax, half-cent sales tax. And basically, it's going to be split between 75% go to the county, 25% go to the AltonMo, Thayer, and Kosh. This will be split up between the municipalities by basically population. If voted in, this will give Thayer Road District somewhere around $91,000. It'll provide Alton with around $26,000, $27,000, and Kosh around $8,000. So right now, Thayer Road Special, they get 16% of revenue coming in from the county, plus they have a little bit of road tax. So what the county would do at that point is we would take them, Thayer Road Special, from 16% to 20%. That would give Thayer Road Special about $36,000, $37,000 extra. This road tax is for materials only. It can't go to fuel, it can't go to trucks, labor, anything like that. This is for culverts, concrete, asphalt, gravel, clay. Basically what this is a way to rebuild infrastructure. This tax will go out in 5 years. It can sunset in 5 years. It can either be voted back in. Personally, I don't think that we'll be in a shape where we need to be voted back in. We need a chance to rebuild infrastructure. As current, budgets right now, you'll never be able to rebuild infrastructure. I mean, you're relying on FEMA, and they're difficult to work with, to say the least. But did that cover your questions?
So, a couple of years ago, our county passed the internet sales tax called use tax.
Use tax, correct.
And that was put in effect and put on the ballot. That money was intended to go into the road fund.
40% does go into the road fund.
It was all supposed to go in. Well, the first year that generated about $260,000. So I don't understand why you have to pay more money.
A failed infrastructure is the reason why we need more money. I have 236 culverts bad, 46 low water crossings that are bad, gravel roads that have been flat top with material on the sides of the roads.
The road wasn't built today.
Rome wasn't lost till day either. To the sheriff's office, correct? You're right. Sheriff's got a lot of expense too. Trying to make the sheriff stand on his own. It's working now, and you don't have to put this tax in. I'll continue to make it work. You're just not going to get your fixed infrastructure.
In general. Yeah, we're building it. Yeah, sure. What am I going to do about that? We're going to pay for the jail. That's what we're paying for right now. Is to plan $500,000.
There was money in general revenue to do that.
Yeah.
No, I'm not looking for what are you going to do to keep the county from
What am I going to do?
yeah, I mean, you're the one, you guys are the ones that signed the, so you're overspending.
What good is money in the bank if you can't serve your people? What am I going to do to slow that down? If you will think about it, this jail will generate between $160,000 and $200,000 a year because we won't be transporting inmates to West Plains, Doniphan, Salem. Right. That will add to. Why? Because the sheriff definitely needed the money. Do what now? You cannot have the money. We're trying to put that back in general. Yes, sir. Okay. Anybody else?
What makes us believe that y'all are going to slow down quickly? This has been no doubt about it. I mean, also, you don't manage your budget every once in a while, see where you're at. You don't know where you're at every time you spend it. If you're home,
I know exactly what my budget is right now. So back up this a little bit. As long as we don't get any more natural disasters, I promise you the spending will slow down. Yeah. Did y'all apply for FEMA? I believe there was a FEMA project there. Yeah. This is an option to rebuild your. That's 4 inches of surface, 24-foot width, and 2 inches of surface are paid for by FEMA. All the money that has left the county has went to repairing holes in roads, repairing washouts in roads. We're not able to move water. We weren't able to move water. All our water was moving down the roads. When you had 14 inches of rain, you have a natural disaster, which was declared by FEMA. I personally worked all year last year without a dime on my own income to make sure this money comes back in for the county. You know, It's already approved. Once the government comes back open, I've already got it. Do you remember a FEMA project called 4855 when you were in office? November of 2024 flood? You do remember that? Okay, so I went back and regained all the lost income that you had. I already got paid for back to the county, $333,000 back to the county. FEMA project 4872, over $400,000 in tornado debris cleanup. That money's coming back to the county, already been approved. 4872, which would be your April flood. $1,700,000 something has already been approved with an additional 200 or 101 miles of roads that are still up for approval. Estimated somewhere around $4.6 million that will come back into the county. As this sits right now, already approved through FEMA, everything is done. The road department will have more money than it has ever had. General, the CD that we leveraged, which y'all are talking about, the CD will be replaced and another one will be added. It's already in the minutes into the county. Yeah.
Why do you need tax?
Because we need to repair the infrastructure that everybody let go. 236 culverts and 46 low water crossings that were allowed to go. I'm going to fix them over a 5-year sunset plan, yes sir.
So what happened to the money on the 2 brand new purpose-built driveway?
The money went back into the tribal. It was bought without purchase orders.
They were piggybacked from Alton County.
Yep, and both of them are currently broke down right now.
So what happened to the $250,000 from the graders that can sell it off the road records and going to leasing?
To go into leases, I traded in a grader that was, it was, matter of fact, it was George's grader. Transmission was bad on it. Didn't have warranty anymore. I have not bought any more graders since then, and I'm not going to fix them. We're going to go with what we got right now, but if the grader's bad, it's going to be repaired. Then the transmission will run out. You can talk to Caterpillar. I know all of it.
Your $4 million is going to get from FEMA. So I don't understand.
That's going to the Northern District, 211 miles of rebuild. All the money that the county had. Do what now? Because I have 236 culverts that are bad that FEMA's not replacing. You know, they wanted the documentation about repair records and maintenance records. Oregon County has 0. They do now. I can tell them whenever we replace a culvert, what date it was placed, when it gets fixed. Every road has documentation, whole spreadsheet right now of every tube of grease is all come out of there. You can more than welcome come into the office and I'll show you everything. Your time book certainly, but have you ever went through a $4 million project looking at time books and somebody wrote down no details? It ain't possible. It's in bad shape, by no means. And so one thing I'd like to add to this, and the reason why I kind of feel this sunset tax is important. It allows us to rebuild the infrastructure, not only on the county level, Thayer special level, but in municipality levels too. You know, I'll give you an example of how we're working Thayer. Around $91,000 will come in Thayer. You got a lot of water lines that are bad in Thayer right now. Well, this will allow you to come back and have asphalt and chat to fix your water lines. This would free up money for municipalities to be able to come in and apply with grants. This tax money can only... What? I'm going to take the entire county money and fix the entire county. 25% will be split to Thayer, Kosh, and Alton, road departments only. So I do want to add that this tax probably wouldn't be so important if a 2% sales tax on new vehicle purchases wasn't allowed to lapse. You know, that brought in a good amount of money into the county. That's no longer in place anymore. And that certainly won't be voted back in. I'm not a tax person myself, but I also say with $240,000, $260,000 in the fixed 440 miles of road, it's not going to work. And it's clearly not going to work because y'all tried to make it work. You know the roads are in bad shape. Anybody that you can't deny that. The point moving forward is how do we get past that? It's a short 5-year tax. It falls off. I have a 5-year plan. I'll certainly sit over here and show you to you down to the penny. Everything will be replaced in that 5 years. I don't care to have a half-cent sales tax, but I know it's important. No, it's for the north, south. I can't do Thayer special because they already have a road tax. That's why we're giving them the 4% of revenue that the county brings in. It'll put Thayer special somewhere around almost $200,000 to work with. And that's a huge improvement for Thayer special. You know, they're down a brush cutter right now. They're operating a grader. Their roads are in just as bad shape as ours are. You know, I can say that if fuel at $4 a gallon and tube of grease at $7 a gallon, it's tough to make it. People want to see graders out on roads. I want to put graders out on roads. But then again, you've got to keep it within, your budget. So this year, my budget's exactly where it needs to be. Last year, when I got in office, March, tornadoes, April floods, and I inherited a flood project from you. So 3 flood projects, 2 flood projects, and a tornado project, that they're all done, everything's turned in, literally waiting on the government to reopen so they can allocate money back into the county, which they've already had on one project completely closed out. So when you say that the county's going broke, only thing that's been spent out of general is $62,000 all year last year, other than a jail project. And we didn't vote for the jail project. That was previous administration. I think it's a great deal. And y'all should come up there and look into jail. Instead of 26 inmates, we bumped it up 34 inmates now. It's a good thing. It's a good thing to see the county growing. I will tell you that you can't do it with pennies. You try.
The other, yes, sir. The half-cent sales tax, if you buy $10,000 worth of taxable goods, now that's a pretty tall order if you think about it. It will cost you $50. Now the state will mandate on the Senate Bill 3 and whatever they're wanting to do that we've been fighting so hard, they will mandate on your property. It's a significant more amount than that. And if you spend $5,000 on this, it will cost you $25. So if you live on a county road, $25 is not much an expense, because I've lived on one for 43 years. So, any other questions? Jason?
Is this on the August ballot, or is this?
This is on the April.
Tuesday? Just Tuesday.
Go on.
So, I just want to say, because I work at DMV, he mentioned a 2% tax that you're no longer getting for the general fund. That is for the county. So if you buy a vehicle, you used to be charged 8.225% if you live in the city limits of Thayer and Alton. Kosh has a little higher tax rate. Because something was not put on the ballot like 12 years ago, maybe not quite that long, we no longer get to collect the extra tax for the county or the city limits. So now, if we buy a vehicle from an individual or out-of-state dealer, we only collect 4.225%. And that goes to the state. That does not go to the county, the city, or nothing. If you buy from a Missouri dealer, then we are allowed to collect the 4.225% for the state, 2% for the county, and Thayer and Alton city tax is 2%. So then you get back to your 8.225 if they live in the city limits. If they live in the
sunsets in 5 years.
Right. So you've lost a lot of, I work there daily. So when we seen that this was not gonna be, we got an email 3 years ago, 4 years ago, that we were no longer gonna be able to collect that sales tax. We went over to the courthouse and asked them about it. They didn't realize that they were not going to get that tax any longer. Alton did not realize that they weren't going to get it. The city Thayer somehow knew about it and put it on their ballot when they were supposed to. The people voted to keep it. So if you live in Thayer city limits and you buy from an individual or out of state, you are still being charged the 8.225 because you as a community voted to keep it. So the county has lost a lot of money from that not being on the ballot. So the last 3 years, that has took a toll on the maintenance as well. That's just some information. Hopefully it was helpful. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Once again, I'd like to thank you. I think we're going to conclude now. I appreciate you coming out this evening. I appreciate you talking and visiting, and we learned a lot here tonight. And I think it's valuable to everyone. So hopefully we'll see you again next time we have a town hall meeting. And I wish everyone luck on April the 7th, and come out and vote. Thank you.